1, 0. If you are here, you are on time. Tell me your team name now. I heard Fellowship of the Fire most loudly, so they get responsibility points. Fellowship of the Fire. Way to be on time and be loud. Oh, for those of you who came in just now, there can be no empty row in front of you. You cannot have an empty row in front of you, so move so that you have no empty rows in front of you. All right, we are talking about universal skills, and we're going to talk about one universal skill being self-awareness. Okay? All right, click. All right, you are about to be tested, and you didn't even know you were in the class. All right, you're about to be tested. You didn't even know you were in class. So, I had this reoccurring nightmare in college. And I would always start the same way and end the same way. I would be finishing up a semester of school, finishing up my finals, and then I would remember that there was a class that I signed up for that I forgot to go to. So now I was going to have to take this final exam for a class that I never went to. All right? So you are about to be tested for a class that you didn't sign up for. So we need to talk about that. If you have an empty row in front of you, I want you to move into that row until you have no more empty rows in front of you. All right? Now, so what we're going to do is... My clicker's not working. Okay. Have any of you taken any of these classes? Stand up if you have taken any of these classes. Okay, great. Oh, I didn't say talk. I said stand up. Some people can even stand up without their mouths. All right? All right? You're very coordinated. Very good. Okay, all right. Now, stay standing if you've taken all of these classes. Stay standing if you've passed all. No, just kidding. Okay, all right. Everyone sit down. That would be embarrassing. Okay. Oh, some of you can sit down without talking. That's really good. Okay, we're learning. We're going to stand without talking. We're going to sit without talking. You're going to be very coordinated in the next 40 minutes. Okay, all right. Does your school stand up if your school offers all of these classes? Awareness, goals, confidence, mental toughness, professionalism, communication, teamwork, time management, decision-making. I have a feeling that most of your schools do not teach these classes, okay? All right, so here's the thing. These skills are not taught in school. They are called soft skills or employability skills, all right? So can someone give me an example of a hard skill? Yes. Walking is a hard skill for Rachel anyway. All right. No, walking is, that's not a great example because a hard skill is something that you use in different places. Caitlin? Microsoft Excel is a hard skill because you use that in certain occupations and you might not use it in others. A soft skill or an employability skill, or what we call them universal skills, are things that you use in every occupation. And this week at camp, we're going to be teaching you, the next 2 weeks at camp, this week and next week, we're going to be teaching you these soft skills, these employability skills, these universal skills that you didn't get in school, and people that don't go to New Life Camp, they're not getting. And you're going to have the advantage over these people that don't have training in these skills. So I love you guys, and I'll say this, that these 2 weeks, for me, are my favorite 2 weeks of the year. More than the summer camp weeks. I believe that we're not called just to train you to get you ready for campers. I think we're called to prepare you for ministry for the rest of your life. You say, well, I'm not going into ministry. That's okay. God called us to grow his kingdom. So whatever occupation you go into, we want you to be the very best, because when you are the best at what you do, you have a louder voice for what you want to say. And if you want to talk about Christ, then we want to give you the best platform that we can give you. Okay? All right, in school, you are only measured by your hard skills. So finished tasks, assignments turned in, correct answers. That's what they want, correct? That's what you're going to get your diploma on, or you already got your diploma on, or whatever. In the workforce, you're going to be measured by your soft skills that no one taught you. We didn't have professionalism class in high school. We didn't have a awareness 101 class. All right? What's going to happen after the next 2 weeks? After the next 2 weeks, you're going to know what these skills are, skills that you're going to be tested on for the rest of your life. You're going to feel empowered that these skills are learnable, because New Life Camp is the best place to learn them. And you're going to pick up behavioral shifts that you can practice this summer and then blow the workforce away when you enter into it. All right? Levels. All right, stand up if you are new staff, first-year staff. Stand up. All right. Great. All right, we got your picture up here. Okay. All right. You're so cute. All right. Hearing this for the first time, it's going to be useful for this summer. We're so glad that you're hearing it this one time. And it's going to be useful for this summer. You can have a seat. All right, returning staff, stand up. Okay? All right. You are going to hear this for the second time, or the fifth time, or for the 8th time, and you're going to retain more than you had last year, and some of this is going to stick with you for the rest of your life. You can sit down. Good. All right. Now, the masters are all who use camps as a lab to experiment with these skills. So this summer is your lab, all right? And it's going to put you on a trajectory for a lifelong mastery. All right. So we're going to get started with our first universal skill, which is self-awareness. Self-awareness. All right? So I am aware that there are certain things that are distracting to me, for example. I am aware that I love to teach, and I love to teach so much that I feel like if you're not learning, then I'm not doing a very good job. So when I see you talking while I'm talking, it really distracts me because I'm not doing a good job of teaching you. And so that's why you'll notice that I'll pause. If I see you talking, I'm going to pause, because I don't want to be bad at what I'm doing. I want to be good at what I'm doing. If I see someone that may be falling asleep, I may walk down to where they are. And then, who knows, I could go, like that. And so I could get your attention, because I don't want you to miss what I'm teaching. So, I am distracted. I'm self-aware about that, okay? So let's talk about self-awareness real quick. All right, just the facts, please. Self-awareness is knowing yourself and understanding how other people experience you. Okay, when you look in the mirror and your shirt says New Life Camp, when you look in the mirror, does it look like New Life Camp? No, it looks like, I don't know how to pronounce that. It's backwards, right? Okay? Other people experience you differently than how you experience you. And maybe you've never realized that before. That's part of self-awareness. 95% of people believe they are self-aware. 95% of people believe they are self-aware. We've got about 100 people in this room. About 5 of you would agree, I am not self-aware. Okay, 5 of you. 95% said, I've got this one. We'll move on to the next session. All right, now, the facts, please. Of those 95%, the people in their lives would consider 5 to 10% of them self-aware. So 95% of us think that we're self-aware. The people around you would say only 5 to 10% of those people that think they're self-aware are self-aware. So what does that mean? Hang on to this one. We are not self-aware about our self-awareness. Okay? All right? We're not even self-aware about our self-awareness. Okay. Individuals with high self-awareness report 42% higher relationship satisfaction. My family, the relationships with my family, they stink. All right? I'm giving you a hypothetical. I'm not speaking the truth here. This is okay. All right. My relationships at school, they stink. My relationships with my soccer team, they stink. What's the common factor? You. Okay? All right? All the people that I can't stand being around, their common factor is me. I'm the one that brings that common factor in that relationship. And so if I will learn to be self-aware, I can have a higher relationship satisfaction. Also, meta-analysis of 50 studies with 12,000 participants show self-awareness correlates with higher job performance. If you are self-aware, you're going to climb the ladder faster. Okay? All right, in a way, self-awareness is the most important soft skill, the most important universal skill that we're going to talk about because the other skills rely on self-awareness. So in all the other universal skills, self-awareness is going to come back up. You're going to be like, I thought we were done with self-awareness. Nope. Self-awareness is what all the other universal skills rely on. So we're going to be talking about that. What's going to happen by the end of this session? You're going to begin to understand the difference between how you see yourself and how others experience you. And we're going to keep on learning that through the next 2 weeks. You're going to be motivated to seek feedback rather than avoid it. And you're going to be equipped to find your self-awareness blind spots so that you can transform those blind spots. Okay? All right. Let's have a little quiz. By the way, I want to apologize ahead of time. Of all my multiple choice formatting got all messed up. And this is the only one that's correct. All the other one, your choices are A, or A. All right? So, all right. So, for this one, we're going to do popcorn. And so what I want you to do is when I say read these questions and choices, I don't want you to stand up and face that wall. I want you to wait until I say go and then pop up and face that wall so we can find out who the posers are that are just following everybody else. So don't look until I say go. When I say go, I want you to jump up and face that way. All right? So A is cleaning, B is communication, C is decision making, D is personal counseling. Which one of these is not a universal skill? Go. The correct answer was A. A. Cleaning. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. I'll take questions after 40 minutes. Okay, all right. Next. All right. True or false, okay? The true are going to face this way. The false are going to jump up and stand that way in just a moment. All right? Self-awareness is knowing your strengths and weaknesses without needing feedback from others. Go. That statement was false. Stand up if you got both answers right. Both answers right. Good job, good job. All right, you can sit back down without talking. Thank you. All right, the paradox. Okay, paradox. Paradox means two things that seem to go together that really don't go together, or two things that don't really go together that actually do go, that they just seem to not go together, but they actually do. The paradox of self-awareness is you cannot be self-aware without involving others. You cannot be self-aware without involving others. You know why? Because you don't experience you the way other people experience you. All right. Corporate and individual development is fueled by feedback. If you want to develop your agency, your company, your church, or you want to develop yourself, you have to have what? feedback. Who said that first? Yes. Luke, team? Miraculous Conquerors. Nice job. Okay. All right. To be solidly self-aware takes seeking out the opinions of others to challenge our own opinions about ourselves. All right. This is not fishing for compliments. Excuse me, can someone tell me what is one great thing about me? All right, that is not the feedback we're looking for. This is not an attempt to confirm our opinions. All right, I think that Harrison Toddy talks way too much. We can all agree that Harrison Toddy talks way too much. Are we correct? Okay, all right. See, what was I doing? I was just confirming my own opinion, okay? This is not asking and then getting defensive, all right? I had someone come one time and ask me their advice, and I said, I think you need to work on this, and they got upset and said, I don't even know why I asked you. I'm like, I don't either, because you were, okay, not looking for feedback, all right? So don't ask and then get defensive, all right? Where to get good feedback. We would call this a 360 review. 360 review. It's feedback from all directions. Feedback from all directions. You want feedback from supervisors. You want feedback from peers. And you want feedback from those under your leadership. Now, at New Life Camp, you will get some feedback from your supervisors without asking for it. It's just going to happen. If you screw up, you're going to get some feedback, all right? Halfway through the summer, you're going to get some feedback. If you really want it, at the end of the summer, you're going to get some feedback. But you can speed that up. You can say, I'm ready for more, and you can ask for feedback. Now, if I'm going to do my very best to memorize everyone's names, but if some of you come up to me your first week of the summer on Monday and say, hey, can you give me some feedback on how I'm doing? I might say, tell me your name again. All right, I'm trying to learn it, okay? But I can't really give you direct feedback. You want your direct supervisors giving you feedback. All right, peers. Are we looking for our best friends? No, we're looking for people who will shoot straight with us. Maybe these are our best friends. Maybe our best friends are here and they will shoot straight. But we want feedback from our peers, and we want feedback from those under your leadership, okay? So you don't go to your campers each week and give a 5-point survey to say, hey, how did I do this week? But you can go and be like, hey, is there anything I could have done to make your week better this week? And they say, I thought you did great. I was a little bit scared of you on Monday through Tuesday, but by Wednesday I was good. Oh, that's good feedback, and it's the 10th time I've heard it. I need to adjust there. You might go to someone and say, hey, is there anything I could have done? Is there anything I could have done to make you feel more like you belonged in our huddle this week? That's not a bad question. Now, you don't dig. You don't be like, why did you say that? What about the time I didn't know? You just got defensive. That's not good. That's not good feedback. So don't do that. But you want feedback from all three of those areas, okay? Now, inferior sources of feedback. Not terrible, but inferior to those three. Those who are conflict averse. Now, definition, what does averse mean? They're against it, okay? You're against conflict. You have a conflict with conflict. Okay? All right? You're conflict averse. Stand up if you're conflict averse. I don't like conflict. I don't want to have hard conversations. Some of you are not self-aware. Okay, all right. Sit down. Okay? All right? These are not the best people yet. They'll get better through the summer. These are not the best people yet to ask for their feedback because they don't want to upset you. Okay? Anonymous criticism. Okay? Anonymous criticism is inferior to the other three because if they love you enough, they'll tell you to your face. All right? Whenever someone comes up and says, Abby, people are saying that they think that your stature is intimidating. All right? All right? Okay? Don't listen to when they say people say or people are talking about. I don't care about what people are saying. I want to know what you think. I care about your opinion, okay? So don't worry about anonymous criticism. Also, don't take criticism from someone you would have never asked for advice from. Don't take criticism from someone I would have never, okay? Just listen to it. Okay, great. Moving on. Let it roll off your shoulder and keep moving. Okay? One and only one source is not going to give you 360 feedback. Okay? All right? Okay. Next, great feedback questions. Is there any area you think I could improve on? All right? So you go to your primary staff coach and you ask that. That's great. Okay? What's something I'm doing that might be hurting the team even though I don't realize it? You go to Will or Caitlin and say, hey, I've been a program staff for 3 weeks now. I love the program staff team, but I want to become more self-aware. What's something I'm doing that might be hurting the team even though I don't realize it? Okay? What you've done is you've admitted, you've given Caitlin a easy way to answer that question because you've said, hey, I might be doing it and I don't realize it. Okay? So now it's easier for me to say it to you because I'm helping you out. Okay? All right? How many of you would be embarrassed to have something hanging out of your nose? Okay? Most of us. Okay? All right? How many of you would be a little bit embarrassed if someone came and told you that, right? Okay? All right? How many of you would be more embarrassed if someone came to you at the end of the day and say, by the way, you've had that hanging out of your nose for the entire day, right? That's worse, okay? So you want people in your life that will tell you the truth because you'd obviously, if you knew it was hanging out, you would have taken care of it, but you didn't know because they're experiencing you in a different way than you're experiencing you, so they're telling you, okay? What's one thing I could do to make working with me easier? You're working with that co-counselor for 3 weeks or 5 weeks or 7 weeks. After that first or second week, hey, what is one thing that could make working with me easier? What could I change to make it easier? Okay? All right. True or false? True is this way. False is that way. All right. The paradox of self-awareness is that involving others makes it harder to understand yourself clearly. Go. That is false. False. Sit down. The paradox is that we can't be self-aware without other people's input. Okay? Next question. A, or A. All right? So here we go. A, that way. Experience, feedback, technology, training. Corporate and individual development is fueled by go. The correct answer was feedback. Feedback. Okay. Stand up if you've gotten all the answers correct so far this session. Okay. Straight A's. Very good. Get it? Straight A's. Okay. All right. Sit down. All right. Next question. A, is there anything you think I can improve on? A, what do you think I should get more credit for? A, what is one thing I could do to make working with me easier? Or A, what's something I'm doing that hurts the team without me realizing it? Which of these is not a good feedback question to develop self-awareness? Go. The answer is, what do you think I should get more credit for? Okay? You should have been facing the back. You should have been facing the back. Okay. Stand up if you've gotten all the questions correct so far. Nice job. You're getting more self-aware all the time. Okay. Turn your blind spots into growth plates. What? That's a mixed metaphor, right? Okay. All right. Turn your blind spots into growth plates. Let's look at that. All right. Examples of blind spots. All right. I want you to, if you want to, you don't have to, stand up when I call something that used to be a blind spot for you, but now you're aware of. That is not a blind spot for me anymore. I know I'm aware this is a problem for me. Dominating conversations. Used to be a blind spot for you, but now it's not. Okay? Some of you are not self-aware. Okay? All right? Okay? Missing social cues. All right? We've still got a lot of blind spots. All right? Sit down. Okay? All right? No tact. No tact. Tact is, I don't mean to offend you, but your hair looks just awful today, Luke, all right? That would be no tact, okay? All right. Thank you, Abby. All right. Poor listening. Used to be a blind spot, but now it's not. Okay, so you're not listening well and you have a blind spot. Okay. All right. You're actually not funny. Okay? You thought you were, but now you know you are not funny. All right, sit down. Talking while someone else is talking. No, just kidding. Okay. Bad at planning. Bad at planning. Okay. All right, sit down. Bad at public speaking. Sit down. Some of you always do that. That was never a blind spot. Okay, all right. Conflict avoidance. Oh, more of you are standing up now than earlier. That's good. Okay, all right. Very good. All right. Yes, all right. Lack of focus. I said lack of focus. No. Okay, now, okay, very good. All right, sit down. Thank you. I got them back. All right. Micromanaging. Used to be a blind spot. Now it's not. Sit down. And under-communicating. Okay, sit down. All right, let's move on. All right. Why would we want to maintain blind spots as blind spots? Blind spots threaten our competence. If I admit to this being a blind spot, then now I don't feel as competent as a counselor as I used to. Now I don't feel competent as a leadership staff like I used to. I don't feel competent like a lifeguard that I used to, so I don't want to admit to it. Known blind spots create a responsibility to address. Well, before I didn't know, so it was okay. Now I know about it. Okay, here's the worst, guys. If you know you have a blind spot and you don't do anything about it, okay? That is very cruel to the people around you, all right? So that's just wrong, all right? Blind spots are uncomfortable. We'd rather be in our comfort zone, so we don't want to talk about our blind spots. Okay. When a blind spot remains hidden, it limits performance. When it's exposed through feedback, it becomes a growth plate, which is a specific area where development can occur. It fills in the gaps between your strengths. It might never be a strength, but it can be a growth that will fill in the gaps between your strengths. Okay? All right, what do you do with growth plates? First, you define them. When you find out that you are an under-communicator, Joel comes to me and says, hey, I need you to know this. You are an under-communicator. Joel, can you tell me what you mean by that? What do you mean by that? I mean that we were all planning on that. You changed it to this, and you didn't tell anybody. Oh, okay. I thought you just said, thinking that I don't talk enough. Nope, you're under-communicating. Understand the impact. Understand the impact. Why does that matter? Hey, that kid, that's the 10th kid that's told you that they were intimidated of you until Wednesday. What's the impact of that? Well, you really only got 3 days of influence instead of 5 days of influence. So understand the impact of your blind spot, your growth plate. Create one observable behavioral change, okay? If I know that my blind spot is focus, if I know my blind spot is public speaking, if I know my blind spot is avoiding conflict, then this next week, I'm going to make one observable change in this area. I'm not going to avoid it. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to ignore it. I'm going to make one change, observable change in this area. And then the next week, I can either say I failed and I'm going to try again, or I can say I succeeded and I'm going to add one observable change in my growth area. Okay? All right. Measure growth, not perfection. Measure growth, not perfection. Perfectionism is destructive. It will demotivate you. It will destroy all your plans. And so we want to measure growth. Don't let it become a blind spot again. All right? If you're like me, there are lessons that I have learned over and over and over again. And when I make the same mistake, I have to be like, I know that about myself. Why did I make that person feel that way when I've been told over and over again that I tend to make people feel that way? Because I've let it become a blind spot again. So don't let it become a blind spot again. And get feedback. Hey, how am I doing? How am I doing? Well, you still got a long way to go, son. Okay, all right. Moving on. All right. A, define it. A, get feedback. A, hide it. And A, understand the impact. What should you not do with a growth plate? Go. The correct answer was hide it. A, hide it. Okay? Growth plates remove the need for feedback. True is this way. False is that way. Growth plates remove the need for feedback. Go. That statement was false. False. All right? How about application? Okay? Here's where the fun comes in. All right? Now, I want you to, everyone needs to know how to point at New Life Camp. All right? Pointing like this is very rude. We never, ever point with our fingers. We always point with our palm facing up. All right? Joel used the hot seat. I'm stealing his idea, but I want to do it in a different way. It's very important who you're about to point to. Very important. Point to who you want to come sit in this seat. Point to who you want to come sit in this seat. I see a lot of hands towards, what's your name? Bradley, come on up here. Okay. Bradley, you are so glad that they picked you because you get to pick who answers the first question.
Ooh, okay, Kinsey.
Kinsey, come on up here. All right. Kinsey, this game is called What Would You Do? Are you ready? All right, here we go. What would you do if a camper seemed intimidated by you even though you were just trying to be firm?
Apologize and ask if there's any way I could grow and how to not make them intimidated.
What do you guys think? It's pretty good. Pretty good. Anyone have anything to add to her statement? Yes, sir? Yeah, hey, you seem kind of nervous. You seem kind of nervous. Is there something that I'm just trying to explain to you why we do it this way. Okay? I'm not upset with you. I'm not angry. Sometimes those of us with default frowny faces need to say, I'm not upset with you. I'm not angry with you. I just want to make sure that we get this right. Anybody else would add to that? Yes, Ellie? No? Okay. All right. All right. Very good. Now, Kinsey, who's going to be the next person in the hot seat?
Delana.
Delana, come on up. All right. What would you do if your co-counselor told you that your communication style felt unclear or confusing, but you know you've been very clear?
I would apologize, ask how I've been unclear in communicating, and ask how I could be better at that.
But you know you've been very clear.
I don't always know that.
What's that?
I don't always know that. Maybe I'm not self-aware about that.
Are you telling me that she is experiencing you in a different way than you're experiencing you?
That is correct, sir.
Very good. Very good. Great answer. Great answer. All right. Who is the next person up here, Delaney?
I'm going to pull out Luke Collins.
Luke Collins. Luke Collins, come on up. Welcome to What Would You Do? All right. You are the next contestant. All right, here we go. What would you do if you heard the same piece of feedback from multiple staff members.
Clarifying question. Is the feedback about me?
It is about you. It is about you.
And it is bad feedback.
It is not great. Okay? You don't need to check in at the hospital, but it is not great.
I would probably go back and ask them how I could improve in those ways.
Great. He said he would go back and ask, how can I improve in those ways? Anyone have anything to add to that? Starts with a D. Starts with a D-E. Define. Okay, great. We want to improve, like he said. We want to define it. We want to get clarification on what you mean by that. Okay? All right, there we go. Very good. All right. Thank you for playing What Would You Do? Okay. All right. I need a new staff member to raise their hand. New staff member to raise their hand. Max, tell me something that you will remember from this session.
Oh man, I'm not a big picture person. I'm a very attention to detail person, but I'll get self-awareness.
All right. He's going to have self-awareness about that. Another first-time staff member, what is something you will remember from this session?
Feedback is not bad, and always take it.
Always take the feedback, because feedback is the fuel for development. That's correct. All right. Returning staff member, something you already knew, but you were reminded of in the last 40 minutes. Something you already knew, but you were reminded of.
My perfectionism could destroy my development.
Your perfectionism can destroy your development. Okay, very good. Be aware of that blind spot. Turn it into a growth plate and start growing. One more, returning staff member. Tell me something you already knew, but you were reminded of.
Don't take feedback from someone you wouldn't ask for advice.
Don't take feedback from, now you don't throw it back in their face. You just listen and you let it roll off your shoulder. Don't take feedback from someone you would never ask for advice. That little 4-year-old tiger beetle told you that you were too bossy, all right? Okay? All right? Well, it's because you have been running around like a madman all day, all right? Now, but the 4th time you hear, you're too bossy. Maybe I need to take note of that, okay? Thank you for being a great audience. Enjoy your next break. You are dismissed.